Good afternoon to you. We will now continue with the Constitution. In the last class, I remember we have taken the Lily Thomas case, that is Section 8, Subclass 4 of Representation People Act, which allows a sitting MP or MLA, they can continue in their post provided they have appealed against the conviction in the higher court within 3 months of the date of judgment by the trial court. This section, subsection class 4 of section 8 of Representation People Act has been struck down. It was struck down by the Supreme Court in Lily Thomas case. It is a public interest litigation. In that case, Supreme Court said it is not a reasonable classification under Article 14, right to equality. That is, under this class, Supreme Court said this is not a reasonable classification. What is the rationale of a person being a MP or MLA and a person who is not an MP? Any crime, offence, anything, any penal consequence should be equally applicable to both of them. You cannot exonerate one fellow and you allow one fellow to make an appeal and his sentence is suspended, and another fellow you are not giving that opportunity. The Supreme Court said no, we will treat all people equal. So that under that provision only, if you recall, Miss Jayalalitha and Lalu Prasad Yadav and two or one JDU member, so many other and members have been convicted. So the convicted members will not be able to contest election for 6 years after release. Remember, after release for 6 years they cannot contest. For example, Ms. Sasikala, and after her release, she cannot contest election for 6 years. It is not possible. So that was the provision we have discussed. Now the question is, on your question whether a member of parliament is subject to any disqualification under class 1 of article 102, class 1 of article 102, that matter will be referred to the President of India, who will take the advice of Election Commission and he will act according to such advice tendered by the Election Commission. I remember I told you about this case, Jaya Bachchan case, Office of Profit case, when we discussed regarding the powers of the parliament or something. This Jaya Bachchan case, Office of Profit. So, in nutshell, what is there? What is Article 102? It says, there are certain class. Number 1, Office of Profit. Number 2, insanity. Number 3, insolvency. Number 4, citizenship. Number 5, foreign citizenship, foreign allegiance, etc. In these 5 cases, that is class 1 of Article 102, if any of these cases, if any question arises, that question will be referred to the President, who will refer this to the Election Commission, take their advice and then decide. And the advice of the Election Commission is binding. Now, what is Office of Profit has not been defined either in the Constitution or in the Representation of People Act. But Supreme Court is a various judgments have defined what do you mean by Office of Profit. The Supreme Court has given 5 tests to decide, to determine whether a particular office is Office of Profit or not. Number 1, whether the government has the power of appointment. Number 2, whether the government has the right to remove or dismiss the holder of the post. Number 3, whether the remuneration is paid by the government. Number 4, whether the functions of the holder of the post relates to government functions. Number 5, whether these functions are controlled by the government. So, very simple. What are the conditions? Whether the power of appointment is possessed by the government, whether the government has the right to remove or dismiss the holder, whether the remuneration is paid by the government, whether the functions of the holder relates to the government duties, whether these functions are controlled by the government. This is the test anticipated by what is known as to determine the position of office of profit. Supreme Court has also held that the post of chairperson of Hajj committee is not an office of profit. However, Jaya Bachchan case, Supreme Court declared that the post held by her as chairman of the Film Development Council, Uttar Pradesh, is an office of profit. You may recall, I remember to told you, a bill proposing retrospective protection to the holders of office of profit passed by both the houses of parliament in February 2013 was returned by President Abdul Kalam for reconsideration of both the houses of parliament. And remember, both the houses of parliament repassed the bill again. As a result, the president had to give his assent. His suspense veto was vetoed by parliament. I remember at that stage, I explained what is office of profit. That is a bill which was proposed to give retrospective protection to the holders of office of profit was received by President Abdul Kalam. He took objection to the provision. Then he returned for reconsideration of both the houses of parliament, what is called suspense veto, and both the houses of parliament reconsidered and sent back the bill again for his assent, and second time he has to give his assent. According to the constitution, accordingly he gave his assent. So this is the office of profit, which you should know. Now, the parliament as well as state legislatures can make law and declare that the holder of any post is not a holder of office of profit. That means the holder of those posts which have been exempted in the law made by parliament or made by the state legislature will not be disqualified. This is the point you should know. Now, if you analyze, there are about 6 situations in which a member of parliament is what is known as he is vacating the office. Vacation of the seat in 5 or 6 circumstances. 5 or 6 circumstances, a member of parliament or member of legislature, assembly, they can vacate the post. This is vacation of the seats. When you can yourself say, suppose number 1, tender resignation. Most important factor is, once a member of parliament or member of legislative assembly has tendered his resignation, he will tender his resignation to the speaker. So, speaker cannot accept the resignation straight away. Then what she or he will do? He has to verify whether the resignation was tendered by the MP or MLA voluntarily, willingly, or is there any coercion, or is there any compulsion behind such resignation. Why? What is the rationale? In Gujarat, it has happened. All the students at the agitation, the Gujarat students, the university students, they gathered all the MLAs and asked them to put in their papers. From that onward, a provision was added that resignation tendered by an MLA or MP should not be accepted straight away by the speaker. Instead, the genuineness of the resignation, whether it was willingly given or given under compulsion, this should be verified by the speaker. Then only it can be accepted. This is number 1. Number 2, once an election is declared or notified, most importantly, the court does not in the normal circumstances intervene until the completion of electoral process. Why? Under Article 329B specifically prohibits the judiciary from entertaining any petition challenging the election to any house, whether it is assembly, whether it is parliament. Once the election has been declared, notified, there till the completion of the electoral process, normally the judiciary is not expected to intervene. Article 329B. Now, an election can be called in question only in the manner and before the authority prescribed by the appropriate legislature. Which authority? Now it is High Court. Only High Court. So the election can be challenged only in the High Court. Once the High Court declares the election null and void, so they adjudicates. So once it is adjudicated, only the seat is declared vacant. Once it is declared vacant, a copy will be sent to the election commission and election will be ordered. So the High Court hold the election invalid and the person would cease to hold office. So this is the second instance. Third is, if a member of parliament is subject to any disqualification under Article 102, the question is, as I already told you, is referred to the president and he will take the advice of the election commission. If the decision is the decision should be as per the advice of the election commission and the decision is final. In this case, most importantly, only post-election disqualifications can be referred. Post-election, after the election of the member, only those disqualifications. That is, in the Jaya Bachchan case, after she became MP, she was holding an office of profit. So, what is the rationale of office profit? Office of profit means the member of parliament is a legislature. Who is giving her money? Executive. So, there is a conflict of interest between the legislature and the executive. So, the legislature, which is the controlling body of the executive, should not function under the mercy of the executive. That is the rationale behind this office of profit policy. Office of profit means you are not expected to avail of any benefit extended by the executive. The executive is not expected to provide you any assistance, and you are not expected to take any benefit out of the executive, because there is a conflict of interest. You cannot keep yourself under the obligation of the executive. This is the intention. So that is why the office of profit has become so much of a issue. Now, thirdly, anti-defection law. Under Schedule 10 of the Constitution, there is a provision relating to anti-defection law, which we have seen. Elaborate what are the conditions, etc., we will see separately. Then, the House can expel a member. The House can, there are two types of expulsion. One is, kindly follow closely, one is, if a member is absent himself 60 days continuously, then the member can be removed from the House by a resolution to be passed by the House. There is no other authority. No authority has the power to remove the member. A resolution has to be passed by the House. Now, what is the reason? Reason is he has been absented himself without valid reason for 60 days. While you calculating the 60 days, what is known as the adjournment and the prorogation of 4 days and above. 4 days and above of adjournment and prorogation should be excluded from calculating the 60 days. If a member of parliament has absented himself without the permission of the presiding officer and without any valid reason, in that case, he can be removed by a resolution passed by the House. This is third or fourth. Fifth is, a member of the parliament can be expelled from Lok Sabha or from Rajya Sabha or from assembly after passing a resolution for the contempt of parliament or legislature. You may recall, Mrs. Indira Gandhi was expelled from Lok Sabha for the simple reason that she has given an incorrect reply to a parliament question relating to Maruti Udyog Limited, in which her son Sanjay Gandhi was a member of the board of directors. So, when Janata Party came to power, in 1977, a resolution was passed by Lok Sabha and she was removed. She was expelled from Lok Sabha, and she was sentenced to a term of imprisonment till the rise of the House. If I am not wrong, till the rise of the House, and she was expelled from Lok Sabha also. Then subsequently, she contested from Chikmagalur constituency, and she became the Prime Minister also. She became the Prime Minister, and this resolution was annulled subsequently. That is a history. We are not worried about the individual. We are worried only about the position. Here, the expulsion from the house is one way of declaring a seat vacant. So, how many cases vacant? Expulsion, then absence from the sittings, then anti-defection law, then resignation, then Article 102 of the Constitution, etc. Then another thing is dual membership, very important from the examination point of view. Dual membership, that is a member holding two posts, two offices. For example, number one, very important, kindly note down, kindly concentrate very closely. If a person is elected simultaneously, to both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, he can choose either of the house within 10 days. So, if a person is elected simultaneously to both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, he has to choose either of the house within 10 days, failing which his seat in Rajya Sabha will fall vacant. Rajya Sabha seat will fall vacant. However, if a sitting member of Rajya Sabha contests and wins Lok Sabha election, his seat in Rajya Sabha becomes automatically vacant. On the date he is declared elected to Lok Sabha. The same applies to Lok Sabha member who contested an election to Rajya Sabha. Perhaps you remember Mr. Amit Shah and so many members of parliament, about at least 5 members of parliament who were Rajya Sabha members, they contested Lok Sabha. The moment they elected as Lok Sabha, their Rajya Sabha seat will go. So, this is the second instance. Third is, if a person is elected from 2 parliamentary constituencies, he has to resign one seat. Within 14 days of the declaration of result, failing which both the seats shall fall vacant. Most dangerous. Both the seats shall fall vacant. In which case, if a person is elected from 2 parliamentary constituencies, he has to resign one seat within 14 days of the declaration of result, failing which both the seats will fall vacant. This is another. Fourthly, if a member of state legislature has been elected to Lok Sabha, he must resign within 14 days a seat from the date of publication of the result in the Gazette, failing which the seat in Lok Sabha will fall vacant. Again, I repeat, if a member of state legislature has been elected to Lok Sabha, he must resign his seat within 14 days from the date of publication of the result in the Gazette, failing which the seat in Lok Sabha will fall vacant. So, we will end the class now. We will continue the Constitution in the next class. Thank you.